Good afternoon, everybody. It's Carpo. Sometimes I wonder about my own videos, whether I'm even going to keep making them. It's like I go through these phases, and sometimes I'm interested in stuff, and sometimes I'm not, and it really led me to this kind of subject for this video, which would be the seasons of the human behavior. In a video a long time ago, I talked about the seasons of the soul and seasons of man, and the idea behind it is that we go through phases and cycles, and I can't overstate how important that is to realize how much it's helped me in my life to understand cycles. We talk about the cycle of, say, the universe. Let's talk big first. Say the cycle of existence. Is it really a cycle? It's one of those things that people have pondered forever. It drives scientists and religious people, mad alike, because it's the question of, how did the universe begin? Was God always here, and if so, how? And if God was created, how was He created? That kind of stuff. And then you start bringing it down to these other cycles, not the cycle of existence, which would be, say, the Big Bang and the Big Crunch. Then it goes down to little cycles, universal cycles, and all the way down to Earth cycles, and then we get down to man. We get down to, let's say, seasons, very small cycles. Within seasons, there are night and day cycles, We have weekly and monthly cycles, but we create those. So we take the yearly cycles, and then we have, because the year is an actual cycle of time. Even though time is created by man, the year exists because it's a constant recurring, scenario. The sun rises. Okay, we have the solstice, whatnot. So we get down to these cycles of behavior, and these are cycles that you might know what I'm talking about. One week you're really interested in something, and you tell yourself, I'm going to start doing this, I'm going to get really into this, and then over a period of time you totally lose interest in it, and you punish yourself for it, as if like you should be maintaining this perfection all the time. It doesn't work that way. I'm going to move inside because I'm cold. I was outside, it was cold, sorry. So we have these cycles of time within our own lives where we go through these behavioral changes. And sometimes they're seasonal, sometimes they're actually caused by seasonal changes. Like people have seasonal anxiety or seasonal depression. So each person has to embrace that. Like, when you're really into something, just take it and go with it. Roll with it until you're bored with it. One of the largest impacts I think this has on people's lives is when they take a career, because people go to school for a long time to learn a career, and they take that career on. Half the time they get out of college and they don't even want to take the career anymore. A lot of the time they take the career for a few years and lose interest. I've seen people who have taken jobs for half the wage, even though they've paid for all this schooling, because they're not interested anymore. And that's something that people need to consider. It's something I wish I would have, I did consider when I was young, but by understanding this, you don't beat yourself up when you're not fulfilling your obligations to yourself, because you'll get back to it. When I took on carpentry, I really love carpentry. I love building stuff. I didn't go study to be a carpenter, of course. Nobody usually does. You get a construction job, and next thing you know, you're either good with the tools or you're not. And I used my smarts to create things and to learn. And now I can do all kinds of carpentry. It's great, but at some point you start to lose interest in it, and you can't fight that. Okay, you want to move forward, but I still love carpentry. It's one of my tools. So some people get to a certain point in their life, usually in their 30s, and they figure, I'm stuck with my career forever, and it's just not true. You have so much time left in your life to learn new things. Some of the really famous books have been written after people retired. They have all these ideas all their life, and they finally put them down. And I don't know, man, it's just, see how much time is left on the camera. It's one of those things that you individually have to monitor. You have to, only you can determine, what your cycles are and how your behavior works. I've met so many different personality types, so many different people that are like so interesting in their own ways, and then you'll meet people sometimes that do nothing but, tell others that they need to change. You need to be this way, or you need to be that way. You need to conform. And it destroys people if they're not strong. Don't let anybody ever tell you to conform to anything. These are all preconceived notions people have about behavior and how people are supposed to be. There are obvious exceptions to this rule, like, sure, you don't want to beat people up. You don't want to cause harm to others. You don't want to cause harm to yourself. But beyond the basic rules of life, people that can't tell you what career path you should take. I am appalled by parents who raise kids to be what they want them to be. I think it's totally, it's disgusting, Children are coming to this world with their own thoughts. You train the kid. What a parent's supposed to teach a kid is values and how to have integrity and what's important to look for, but not the actual specifics of what they need to believe, what they need to study, especially not what career they should take. And so many kids want to impress their parents, especially like the doctor thing. Dad was a doctor, the kid wants, be a doctor. The dad wants the kid to be a doctor. And they'll say it's because I want you to do well. I want you to have money. I want you to be happy in life. Well, how do you know a person's going to be happy doing that? Money doesn't make a person happy. Career is just as important as money. And what line of work you choose, you might not be into later. So, each person on their own, figure out your own cycle. Last year, about this time, I went through a kind of a Buddhism cycle, and I was really into it. I was into meditation. Everything was like this whole Hinduism kind of idea. I wasn't into the religion itself or anything. I was into just that whole concept of living in the now, accepting things for what they are. And after a while, I started getting back into the routine of life, and I accept that. I'll go back to it. I'll go through cycles. Everything is a circle. Peace.